Maria here. Welcome to my channel. Today we are talking all things pralines. So it's coming to that Christmas season when pralines, you're smelling warm nuts everywhere. I don't know about you, but I love praline, like praline ice cream, delicious. Pralines just in general, like I love making pralines. I love the smell of warm nuts and sugar roasting in the oven. I don't know if you've ever made them before, but they're super easy to make. And they're just delicious. It's one of the more popular notes in fragrances these days. So I wanted to share with you my praline findings, all the fragrances that I have currently that have praline in them. But before we get started, if you haven't subscribed, just go ahead and hit that button. Join the Weird and Wonderful family. It would be amazing to have you part of the community. And let's get into this. Now, the first praline fragrance that I'm going to share with you actually doesn't have praline in it, but it has that warm, sweet nut vibe. So I wanted to share it with you guys, and it is Girl of Now. Now this has almonds and pistachio, orange blossom. There's magnolia. There's some tonka in here. There's even a bit of pear orange, but primarily I get that sweet kind of praline feel. So there's a quality to this that I smell in praline fragrances, and that's that warm, sweet nut component. So this one would be probably the most praline forward fragrance. That warmth from the nuts with some sweetness, this is definitely it. So it's quite syrupy and sugary. Beautiful fragrance, very warm, very cozy, very alluring. Yeah, so I thought I'd mention it even though it doesn't have pralines. I think that the fragrance combo that actually put praline on the map was Lancome's Oud Bouquet. So Lancome uses praline actually a lot in their fragrance, and Oud Bouquet was no exception. So it's basically a rose oud praline vanilla fragrance. And then came the knockoffs. So we have Chekhov Oud. There's all sorts of fragrances now that are that vanilla rose praline combo. I believe even Jo Malone's Velvet Rose and Oud, I believe it has praline in it too. So lots of the Middle Eastern fragrances kind of got on this same bandwagon of the rose oud sweet combination. I don't know for sure that it started with Lancome's Oud Bouquet, but that was the first one that I became aware of that had that sugary sweet component. And to me, it kind of adds a sense of whimsy and dessert-like quality to the rose and oud. And rose and oud, it's kind of an interesting thing because I find oud bordering on gourmand anyway. So it's a wood, it's quite resinous, it can smell like poo, but when you get that right oud combo with some sort of sweet, it smells almost edible somehow. So it's a very, very mouth-watering, luxurious smell. The praline just kind of adds an allure to the fragrance and keeps it from getting too heavy or cloying with the oud and the rose. So absolutely love Chekhov Oud. Oud Bouquet, of course, is beautiful. It's way smoother than this, but same kind of idea. Like I said, there's quite a few out there now that have that praline component. So absolutely love it. This is just a beautifully sophisticated fragrance. And it's so neat to me how you can take the same note and just do it different ways. So again, thinking of Lancome, they have La Nuit Trésor. Now, this has praline in it as well, but completely different take. This one has rose. This one doesn't have the oud, but this is way more where something like Chekhov Oud has that woodiness and that deep kind of opulence. This is definitely more sweet, syrupy, intoxicating, sexy. Like this is the kind of fragrance that a guy likes. There's some incense in here. There is some depth in here because it's got some patchouli. There's some incense. There's coffee in here. But there's a lot of fruit, a lot of rose, and that praline in here is just mouth-watering. So this smells like a woman that's wearing, you know, a black satin kind of tight-fitted bodycon dress, high heels. She's maybe at some sort of a jazz club or whatever, but she's got like, you know, it's got kind of a sweetheart neckline and the girls have come out to play. That kind of vibe is what you get from this fragrance. So it's super sensual, sexy, alluring, addictive. Guys really like this. Gorgeous, gorgeous fragrance with praline. Now, talking about what guys like, and being we're talking Lancome. And like I said, Lancome knocks this note out of the park. La Vie Bell. To me, La Vie Bell is way sweeter. It's sweeter than La Nuit Trésor, but less fruity. La Vie Bell opens with some black currant and pear. And so there's a bit of a fruity opening, but the La Nuit Trésor smells a lot more berry and a lot more syrupy. This, you definitely get those fruits in the opening, but it has iris, orange blossom, and jasmine in the mid, and you definitely get the orange blossom for sure. There's a bit of a powderiness, which I'm assuming is the iris. And in the base, you have praline, tonka, vanilla, and lots of patchouli. So this is definitely a heavy patchouli fragrance, more so than La Nuit Trésor. It's very sweet, it's very girly, it's very flirty, whereas the other one to me is a little bit more seductive and alluring. This one's more feminine and flirty. Guys love this fragrance. Like, I've never been complimented on La Nuit Trésor, but I do get complimented by men, specifically when I wear La Vie Belle. So this is a super sweet, great fragrance for date night, but it's not so serious that you couldn't wear it during the day. You just want to tone it down a bit because it is very sweet and lots of people don't like it. But the praline note definitely comes to play, especially in the dry down. Very, very sweet fragrance, but really, really fun to wear. Definitely better in the wintertime though, in my opinion. Sophia Love is a very affordable fragrance with praline in it. This one has a beautiful passion fruit opening, and I definitely get a lot of that passion fruit in the beginning. As it dries down, it gets a bit sweeter. You start to get that praline vanilla combo. This has coffee, it's got orchid, it's got orris in it. So there's a bit of a powdery quality, very fruity yet sweet. This one is another one that's really great for evenings, or I wear this one a lot to bed because it's super sexy. But somehow a little bit cozy. It's in the same family as something like The Only One by Dolce & Gabbana or Black Opium. It's got that same vibe, but this one is a little bit more fruity. It still has that sweeter kind of orange blossom feel, but the coffee kind of just adds a little hint of texture, basically. You don't get much of it, but there is that little bit of depth. The orris just kind of makes it feel a little bit softer. And then that praline just adds a really great mouth-watering sweetness. And it's a neat juxtaposition between the passion fruit, which is bright and sweet, and then the praline vanilla coffee orris mixture. Really, really cool. Longevity isn't as great on this one, about 4 hours. I used to not like this one, and then more and more I've fallen in love. As you can see, I've made a really decent dent in this one for sure. Now, I have Angelic Elixir by Dua, and this is inspired by Angel Share. This is a very boozy, sweet, it's kind of booze, cinnamon, a little bit of woodiness, and then major sweetness. So praline, kind of caramelly smell, like it smells very, very sweet. So it does smell to me, even though it doesn't have any apple in it, it gives me that apple pie vibe. So once an apple has cooked down in its juices, it smells a little bit boozy with the cinnamon and the praline. Oh, it's really, really intoxicating. It's not my absolute favorite DNA because I find it so sugary sweet. And this one isn't identical to Angel Share as far as I'm concerned, but it's similar, right? Longevity is just crazy with this. So it's that sweet, boozy, syrupy fragrance that lots of people are gravitating towards today, and it has praline. The next one that has praline is Ariana Grande's Cloud, which I actually was shocked by. So it's got some lavender in there. It basically smells like a fluffy lavender marshmallow is basically how I would describe it. So I get a hint of that lavender. There's some vanilla in here. There's fluffy kind of cream / marshmallowiness in it. Lots of people say that it smells like Baccarat Rouge. I don't think it really does. Like I get the comparison. It's in the same kind of family or genre, but I wouldn't compare them. In fact, if you want to like Baccarat and you've never been able to, and you haven't smelled this, like most people have smelled this, you should maybe give it a try because it's got that same feel, but I don't think it comes across Band-Aid-y. I kind of think it's the saffron that can sometimes take on various feels. So sometimes it feels really spicy. Sometimes it adds to the sweetness. So saffron's an interesting thing to me, but this doesn't have that. So you may enjoy this if you find the other one too medicinal. This has whipped cream, coconut, and praline are some of the notes that kind of add to that sweetness. I don't find it to be coconutty at all. I find this one to be cozy and just kind of, like I said, like a lavender marshmallow. The praline doesn't come out majorly. It's just kind of a supporting role, probably to add sweetness, but it certainly isn't. I don't find this near as sweet as something like an Angel Share or Angel Share dupe. To me, this one's way, way sugarier. This one is quite mild. I'd say it's probably the least sweet out of all of them. Maybe not, but it's way less sweet to me. What about you? Do you find this sweet or not too sweet? Leave it in the comments. So another really excellent praline fragrance, but it's really hard to find these days, is Michael Kors Twilight Shimmer. This is absolutely delectable. So it has plum and red berries in the opening, but I definitely get a huge, huge hit of that plum. It has oud, praline, and woody notes. It's got the plum sweetness with the praline, so think sugar plums is kind of the feel that it gives, but then it's paired with that oud. So it's, again, a sweet oud. It's delicious. Like, it's delicious, but it's also sexy. It feels quite sophisticated. It was my favorite out of this shimmer collection. By far, this was my favorite one. I also have, it probably had praline in it too, the Starlight Shimmer, and it is nice, but this one is way, way better. So if you can get your hands on this, you really should try it. Like, seriously, the plum with the praline and oud is just delicious yet sophisticated. Love it. So the last fragrance that I have for you is Camera by Lattafa. Have you guys smelt the new Camera yet? Val got it, so my guess is that she'll bring it the next time she comes so I can sniff it. It has coffee in it. Apparently you get the coffee. According to Val, it doesn't smell that much different than the original, but she's excited to have it anyway. This one is definitely, again, that sugary, it's really mouthwatering. So it's got a boozy factor in it as well. There's some sugar, there's dates in here. There's cinnamon and nutmeg in the opening. So you get that same sort of apple pie feel as Angel Share. It doesn't smell like Angel Share. This one has the dates in it, and you definitely get that date feel in this fragrance with those spices. So it's still mouthwatering, still boozy. There's a bit of floral in here, like tuberose, I think, and mahonial. I don't really get the florals a whole lot. I get more the deep resinous aspect from the benzoin, myrrh, tonka, vanilla. So definitely smell that vanilla, like quite a lot, but there's also praline in here. So this is, again, that mouth-watering, boozy feel, little bit kind of almost tobacco feel in there because there's a little bit of oud. It doesn't come across oudy, more tobacco-y mixed with the dates. So it smells, to me, it smells like a Middle Eastern party. Like you've got baklava and some dates dipped in some sort of delicious praline-y caramel stuff, and there's a party going on, and there's cinnamon and nutmeg. The liquor's flowing, the cigars are going, there's dancing going on. It's really celebratory. Now, this fragrance is actually quite sophisticated as well. So I find this really beautiful. My sister wore it to her son's wedding and she just smelt divine. So it's a great fragrance, also very affordable. But yeah, it has praline as well. And again, with some of these, it's not like I super duper smell praline, but it just adds this beautiful mouth-watering sweetness to absolutely everything. So love it. So that is it. Those are my mouth-watering praline fragrances. What about you? Do you have one that you want to share that you just think is amazing? If so, leave it in the comments. And what are your thoughts on these fragrances? Do you like them? Don't you like them? Leave it in the comments as well. And other than that, I hope you have an amazing week, and we'll talk to you soon.